Michelle, and I've been smoke-free for 4 years.
And I'm Drift, and I'm currently in the process of giving up smoking.
I remember my first cigarette, and it was in year 11 at school, and I had a cigarette in the toilet with a girl.
That was your first one?
Yep.
Wow.
It was disgusting and vile and completely addicted immediately.
Wow. I had my first cigarette in year 7, and it also was very disgusting, but like it just kind of trickled from that. But serious smoking, I guess, started when I was 16 and I just left school. So I was working kitchens. But I guess I continued smoking because it was poetic in my young mind. Like we grew up with the Breakfast Club and whatnot, so it was kind of romantic in a way. So
when I first started smoking, it was because of the people that I was hanging around, and I wanted to smoke because of the group element of that. Like it was a pack thing that we were doing, and then I started liking it, and I liked how I looked back then with cigarette and all the associations that I had with that. And you know, we totally loved Pulp Fiction. Everybody smoked in that. We love Reservoir Dogs. Everybody smoked in that, right? Yeah. And also there's a lesbian movie with this really hot woman in it, and she smokes throughout the whole thing. And so I really closely identified with those images, and also, you know, my friends. But then as I thought about it as I got older, and it did start affecting my health, I was thinking about the reasons why I kept smoking. And I developed asthma from my smoking, which I didn't have when I was little. And so then I started hating all the things about smoking that I used to like, that used to keep me smoking. So the image changed in my head. So I didn't actually like what I looked like when I was smoking. So I look at myself in photos, and it kind of looked a little uncomfortable for me to look at. And didn't like how it smelt, and then also didn't like what it was doing to my lungs and my body. And so then I realised I was addicted to something, and that was the core reason why I kept smoking. And until I changed the way I thought about it, I just kept doing it because I was like stuck in the cycle of hating, loving. When I first really seriously began to think about quitting, so I thought about quitting a lot, like for many, many years. But when I first started really thinking about it and really trying to plan how am I going to do this, it was at a time whenever I was getting really into kickboxing and weightlifting and stuff like that. So I was really focused on my body, but also I was focused on the emotional journey that also was taking me through. And so I was asking myself a whole bunch of questions, and other people were talking to me about how they saw me and how I was responding in my growth in the kickboxing, right? And someone said to me once, picture for me and tell me, what does the best version of you look like, right? And so I seriously thought about that in that moment, and that was the moment. Honestly, I didn't have a cigarette after that conversation, because that's when I quit. And I remember it, and I was sitting on the mats in the boxing gym. We had the conversation, and I imagined all the things that would make perfect version of me that I wanted, like perfect for me. And I didn't smoke. That version of me wasn't a smoker. And because I wasn't a smoker, I was fitter and I was clear-minded. I had more money to do things, and I was achieving the things that I wanted to. And for me, quitting smoking was an easier thing to do because I could do it straight away, and it was immediate. I just had to make that decision. So how I see myself was the biggest influencer in me quitting smoking.
I currently smoke because I'm afraid to let go of the addiction. It's really complicated. I know that sounds like a cop-out almost, but I've given up drinking, I don't take drugs anymore, I've changed my whole relationship with my body, but to have that last step and giving up smoking, it's really terrifying for me.
It took a lot of things to help me succeed. So I made the decision to stop smoking, and the thought patterns around that is what got me to that point. So I made the decision to do it, and I knew why I was doing it, but if I didn't have the people around me that were supporting me, so like my partner and my friends, and my co-workers as well, I wouldn't have done it, because they were in their own different ways supporting me. Also, if I didn't have a plan to do it, that I would have failed completely. And also if I didn't know what was coming. So for me, I knew that if I got through the first 3 days, that was going to be hardest for me. And then I set a goal to get through 3 weeks, and then once I got there, it was easier, and then 3 months, and then it was easy after that. So yeah, people plan and to know what was happening. That's the thing.
It is a thing, but with support, it's really different because as a smoker, you're up against the stigma of just quit, just do it. Like, it's really difficult, and it's different for all of us. Like, I could plan, but you've got to stick to the plan, and that's a whole nother battle in itself. So having people there to support you is one thing, but your relationship with yourself, and I just want to keep saying it, is the most important thing. You've got to believe that you can do it and like who you are while you're doing it.
I want